Well, we're here today to, well, firstly, may I say thank you for inviting us. And there's a great affinity between Motherwell Football Club and Third Lanark in the days of when Third Lanark were obviously alive and kicking. Happy to say we're re-emerging and that affinity has bonded again. And we'd like to tell you about not just about our football team, but what we're trying to do in the community. And it all started in 1872, where a group of officers of a regiment called Third Lanark Volunteer Rifles, based in the south side of Glasgow, the officers decided that their soldiers weren't fit. And they had a wee discussion in the mess room, apparently, and said, right, we're going to play this new game called football and get these guys fit. That's apparently genuine. So they formed a football team, the second oldest football team in Scottish football history, beaten by Queen's Park. So they formed a football team 1872. The rest, so that was a community involvement.
Yeah.
Soldiers weren't fit. The team became hugely successful over 90 years until their demise in 1967. Almost 50 years have passed and the club has re-emerged. And with the same ethos as a football team, playing and working in a community in the south side of Glasgow.
Right. So what does the future bring then for the club?
Hopefully good success, that's what we want to bring back. A lot of the fans were deprived. It went from winning the top league title to suddenly there's no club there.
Yeah.
The doors were shut and it never opened again, so we're hoping to open the doors again and let people see some good football. And bring the community together, give them a focus point so they can come down and be part of it, or come down and play, or just cheer us on.
Yeah. And you touched on the community, obviously that's a huge part of the club, and you're here at Motherwell, now recently fan owned, and there's a lot that the clubs can relate to. Is it important to keep that kind of relationship there?
Very, very much so. And not only are we grateful for the advice that Motherwell Football Club have given us, but we see as a model that we wish to follow. Yeah. Some of the things in the community that we've got underway, we have a Ukrainian fully qualified football coach who arrived in Govan Hill a few years ago. He's now one of our academy's coaches, and he's also introduced us to some of the members of the Govan Hill community. We also have a leading member of the Asian community wishing to assist our club, not just for football, but for example, they've got no place to practice cricket. So the sporting community side of things is very important. But over and above that, it's about team spirit, well-being, family life, keeping people healthy.
We've just donated most of our strips to them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Ian and I both went down there because over the years I've been here, I have amassed a massive amount of strips in my garage, and my wife was getting a bit upset. So we, rather than going to waste, we found a team in Govan Hill, or a community group in Govan Hill, and we've donated, I think it was 8 full kit bags worth of kit. What's good is it does have our badge on it, and I've said for a long time to Ian that the biggest thing for me will be seeing someone that's not connected with the club walking down the street with our badge on, and that's when we've started to make movements. So.
And just how big a benefit can the community involvement be in terms of the football side of things going forward now?
I think it can be excellent, especially for touching in. There are certain parts of the community that we really want to be involved in, and with us showing that we want to help them and being quite open to the community, then hopefully it opens up different avenues to us in terms of players, fans, things like that as well. So
we spoke just off camera. You said that you don't want it to be about the club primarily. The community is the real priority here. What can the community expect now?
The community can expect this a bonding amongst the various parts of the Govan Hill and Southside community. Not just in football, family life, a pathway to good health, all of that sporting and exercise type of involvement, and threaded through it is a sense of belonging and a sense of team spirit.
And you touched on Motherwell being perhaps a model for this going forward. The Welsh Society plays a huge part in that. And what can you tell us about the support and help you've had from the Welsh Society so far?
Douglas Dickey has been particularly helpful. as has your chief executive of the main club, Alan Burrows. An example of how they helped us was, we actually don't know how to run a football club. We think we know, but we don't know. So we've been given huge advice, principally from Alan, right down to what the soap costs in the dressing rooms, and we've used that, what he gave us, as a model. But he also, and Douglas as well, exampled about the Well Society and the team and the club and the family of Motherwell, and that's where we're at as well. It's not just about football, it's about the whole thing involved.
And as a manager, what sort of stuff are you going to take forward in the re-evaluation of this club?
Well, for me, it's what I'm trying to do, and with the team we've got, a really, really good footballing team. But for me, the first thing I build is people, and it's about a group and that we get on with each other, and that's something we want to build again throughout just the team, the community as well. We want to be able to do that. There's something that's been prevalent with my team for the last few years, and that's just the spirit we've had. We've had plenty of lows, a lot of highs, but it's a great spirit we're starting to build, and if we can let the community see that and be part of it, then we're winning.
That's a huge part of it, isn't it? Spirit, the community, but another thing can obviously be money, of course.
Yes.
Fundraising a big part of it for you guys.
Fundraising is a big part. I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling how much money it needs. Now, Davey's got around 30 players in the amateur team. He's taking calls from young men wanting to play for us. Our academy, we now have 90 boys in our academy in various age groups, now backed up with 16 coaches, one of whom is our head coach and one of whom's Vlad from the Ukraine. So even simple things like the strips, every one of the boys in the academy and the girls and Davy's team playing authentic Third Lanark strips. So it was a big step, big change. And that has been funded by 3 major sponsors and indeed some of the fans and supporters.
Davy, Motherwell thrive on a good youth system and producing fine young players. Is that hugely important to you guys as well? And as you as a manager looking forward, is that something that's going to play a huge part in the future?
Absolutely. We spoke, Ian and I spoke recently, and for me the main thing when we get the academy going is that we're all working together, and that players can come through and play our style of football by the time they get to the ages of between 18 to 21. The academy's grown and grown right now, and hopefully if it continues to grow like that, there will be a time shortly where a player will come from the academy and then will play for me, and that's the main thing for me, because it's good and we want that, because if we can build what we're doing right now and grow it and bring players through this, then it's brilliant for us. So really good.
Is it an encouraging thing for the players as well to see clubs like Motherwell being able to thrive on doing that sort of thing, that it can be hugely successful?
Yeah, definitely. When you look at clubs around us and talking to yourselves and looking at different models that are there, it's great to see that we could have something like that someday. So absolutely. And
what have you taken from being here today and being around the club and hopefully building these relationships but a lot closer again?
It's a harmony and the support, and it's just terrific. If I turned the clock back a year, I met with your, at the time, Charlie Bennett, and he told me all about the Motherwell Community Trust charity, and I should have said earlier in the conversation, we've applied for Third Lanark Community Trust charity, and we're just about there with it. So that's an example of advice freely giving and a bond between two clubs. We thank you very much for it.
I think for me as well, I've been with the club for a few years now. There's a few guys in my team that have been here even longer than me, but in the time I've been here, Third Lanark's been growing and the name's been out there, but to have clubs such as Motherwell actually starting to recognise us as a team again starts to show the work that's been done over the last couple of years from the club. So,
well, it's terrific to have you both here today, and I wish you all the best for the future going forward.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right, thanks a lot.